Hello everybody, it's your friendly neighborhood Garfield lasagna lover here, and I'm back with another episode of Young Hero Rants. On today's episode, we're going to talk about a video that's been causing some controversy in the YouTube community as of late. It's a video made by a YouTuber you've probably heard of called JelloApocalypse. So this is basically vote.
This is a message for my American viewers. Vote. Vote, vote, vote. Vote on Tuesday, November the 6th. Vote now, if you can. Get your friends to vote. Get your family to vote. Get everyone you know to vote. Vote even if they shut down your usual polling place. Vote even if your polling place was moved unreasonably far away. Vote even if they make it hard. Vote even if you need to skip work. Those few hours of wages aren't worth your country being an unsafe place for you and your family. Vote even if you think they'll throw your vote away. Vote even if you think it's rigged. Vote even if you think your vote doesn't matter. Because it does. Because the only way to guarantee that your vote won't count is not to vote. Democracy isn't about waiting for someone else to change things when things are so obviously wrong. Democracy is about waiting for you and your voice.
This video really pulls at your heartstrings, and it does so in a way that is emotionally manipulative. In that drawing you just saw, it pictured Trump supporters in red beating up a person of color. Now, I'm not going to deny that Trump supporters don't do that. Some of them do. But most of them don't. Most of them aren't out there beating up blacks, Muslims, Hispanics, and people of color in general just because they're not white. I don't understand where you're getting that information from, because I have never heard that. I've never heard that. Now, to be fair, I'm not well versed in the political spectrum, so I could be wrong, but to me this just kind of comes off as fear-mongering to make people that voted for Trump look like some of the worst human beings imaginable. And if you're having to do that to make a point, Houston, we've got a problem.
Vote. Don't vote for a color. Don't vote for a party. Vote for the people who will help other people. Because that's what a government is for. Helping people.
When he makes the point about not voting for a color and instead voting for the person that will help other people, keep that point in mind because it's going to come back to bite him in the ass in a few minutes.
Read about your candidates and vote for the people you can trust. Look up who they really are and read about what they've really done. You might be surprised. If you voted for the current administration because you genuinely thought they would really help America, that's fine. That's what you should always do. Your vote and your voice matter. But don't be afraid to look at our country now and reconsider. There's nothing wrong with having backed the wrong horse.
I love all of the guilt trip emotional manipulation that is in this video. So you say that people voting for Trump because they genuinely thought he would make America great again is fine. But then you list all of the terrible things that have happened since he took office and said, it's not too late to change your vote and say that you've backed the wrong horse. So you basically just contradicted yourself. You're basically guilt-tripping those that voted for Trump and listed all of the terrible things that have happened since he was elected, trying to pin it on him like it's somehow his fault, even though all of the terrible shit that has gone on in the world would have still happened regardless of who's in office, because life sucks. The real world sucks. The real world can be a terrible place sometimes. There are despicable people out there. I'm talking about the absolute scum of the earth that do the kind of shit that they do because they get off on hurting people. No, regardless of who's in office, nothing would change that. This terrible shit would still happen, but it's all Trump's fault because Trump is just the popular scapegoat these days that everybody loves to hate.
There is something wrong with seeing that horse running towards a cliff and refusing to get off just because it's your horse. Vote. Vote as though children are being separated from their parents at the border. Vote as though it's your child being separated from you.
I do agree that kids shouldn't be separated from their families and that families shouldn't be separated, but that's the kind of risk you take when you immigrate illegally. Now, to be fair, I can understand why people immigrate illegally to the US, because the country they're living in is most likely a shithole, and they want to escape and have a better life in America. But not every family has the means to immigrate legally to the States, so they have to resort to immigrating illegally. That is a pretty big risk. It is an incredibly huge risk because, sure, you could make it in there and live a happy life, but then there is always the chance of getting deported back to your country because the US has very strict immigration laws. It's the same here in Canada as well. So, on that point, Jello, I will agree with you there.
Vote like trans people are being erased from the census and being told they do not exist. Vote like a black man was hanged from a tree for protesting police violence, and police killing black men just for being black.
The amount of emotional manipulation that is in this video is absolutely astounding. You do realize that this kind of shit was a problem when Obama was still in office, right? You do realize that, right? Two of the biggest tragedies of white men killing a black man was Trayvon Martin and Michael Brown, and those happened when Obama was still in office. I don't understand why a police officer killing a black man is Trump's fault, because this kind of shit would happen regardless of who's in office. Because there are just dirty cops out there. There are some out there that will just go after black people and people of color in general just because they're a different color. It doesn't matter who they are. So how exactly is this Trump's fault? I really don't understand that. Oh, and I just love the fact that you feel the need to get offended on behalf of black people as a whole, as if we can't speak for ourselves. That is fantastic. That is amazing. No, I'm kidding. That's just downright insulting. And the fact that you're using the fact that a white police officer killed a black man just for being black, just so you can push your own agenda, that Trump is this evil person, in my opinion, is absolutely fucking disgusting.
Vote like your president is a nationalist, because he is.
He's a nationalist because he loves his country? I don't understand what the purpose behind this point is, because when I think of the term nationalist, I think of someone who's proud of their country. If we're going by your logic, then I guess I'm a nationalist because I'm proud to live in Canada.
Vote like the term alt-right is now a household term for fascism and hate, because it is. Vote like Jewish people are being gunned down in a synagogue like it's 1939, because they are.
The mastermind behind the Pittsburgh Jewish synagogue massacre was motivated by his hatred of Jews. He wasn't a Trump supporter, at least not that I know of. So again, I must ask you, Jello, what the fuck does this have to do with Trump?
Vote like this is the world we live in, because it is. And if now isn't the time to get political, then it never will be. Vote like you love humans. Vote like you love all humans, and you believe that no one should be deported, or beaten, or killed because of how they look, or where they were born, or who they love, or who they are. Vote like you're a human. Vote because you love America. Because you know it's broken, and you need to be the one to repair it again. Because if you don't, nobody else will. Vote.
Jello, you said this earlier.
Vote like trans people are being erased from the census and being told they do not exist.
And then you said this.
Vote like you love humans. Vote like you love all humans, and you believe that no one should be deported, or beaten, or killed because of how they look, or where they were born, or who they love, or who they are. Vote like you're a human. Vote because you love America.
No! No!
So you said that Trump was supposedly trying to wipe transgender people out of existence, and then later you say that anyone that voted for Trump is essentially not a human and they don't exist. I never knew this level of mental gymnastics was even possible, but you've proven me wrong, JelloApocalypse, so congratulations. In conclusion, this video is flat out garbage. It is, by far, one of the worst videos I have seen this year. The concept on paper is not bad. There is nothing wrong with making videos telling people to go out and vote, but you don't have to be a smug and obnoxious prick about it. Seriously, if all you had said was, hey, go out and vote because it's important and your vote matters, you wouldn't have gotten any backlash if you had just said that. But you instead went down the route of using horrible tragedies to push your own biased agenda for nothing more than clickbait, for nothing more than views. That's all you did it for. And what did you get out of it? You pretty much alienated your audience and pissed a whole lot of people off. And rightfully so, because this video is fucking terrible. It is awful. And keep in mind, I don't think he had any sort of malicious intent making this video, but it was poorly conceived and the execution was all wrong. Did no one watch this video and say, this is shit, you should not upload this is god-awful? Because if someone had, we would have been spared from this fucking disaster. For all entertainment channels on YouTube that are thinking about making a video about politics or even getting political, here's some advice from your good old pal ThatKidDouglas, free of charge. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Because all politics does is divide people. All it does is cause arguments and backlash and unnecessarily divides your audience. Because people come to YouTube for entertainment. They come to escape all of the bullshit that goes on in the real world. They don't come to be reminded of how awful the real world can be and to have politics shoved down their goddamn throat. That's not what YouTube is for, and videos like this are why I avoid talking about politics on my channel. Because no matter what you do, you're gonna piss somebody off and you're gonna divide your audience, and who wants that? So, again, for all entertainment channels on YouTube, just stick to what you're good at. Stick to entertaining your audience. Don't lecture them, because if you do lecture them, you end up with shit like this, and that's the last thing that anyone wants. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. This is ThatKidDouglas, aka the End Hero, signing out. Deuces, stay frosty and keep it weird. Cue an outro sequence now.